My current position is a Director for Centre for Space Medicine at University College London. I do research related to space exploration and working in some projects I work directly with astronauts, and in some it's composing what it would be like and considering the conditions and advising and designing tools and technology that might be assisting in training, also in selection, and also in development of how to support them in space in long duration missions. There are projects that are specifically designed for designing tools that will assess their state on what they're feeling like, considering communication, because once you go to Mars, for example, there will be up to 20 minutes delay. And if you wanted to say something, let's say, I'm not feeling well, and they will say, in what way? 40 minutes have passed, because the communication have to go both ways. And then the conversation is not quite flowing. So it's considering those type of aspects. How do we prepare for that? How do we prepare for potential that there might be misunderstandings? It's important to consider all those factors, and that's what basically I do. What are we capable of? Where do we break, mentally, psychologically, with fear? Where does our curiosity come from? I know there are many stories of people doing incredible things in circumstances that otherwise they wouldn't. And I was fascinated by that. Pilots, when they're flying, they consider all sorts of scenarios and making sure they land, they have routes to land no matter where they're flying. It's constantly in your mind because you have to be ahead. So if something goes wrong, you have a plan. It's about a different mentality. It's perceiving the world, being connected to the world, being cautious with your movement, understanding how it affects everything around you, people around you. Short of actually being in space, I wanted to get close. So hence the space psychology. So I have had amazing mentors along the way, and sort of they said, go slowly, what will lead to that? Aviation, military, design, equipment. Clinical psychology was a must, because if you are a clinical psychologist, you can work in any domain. In order to speak the language with pilots, it is important to learn what they do. So there is an interesting concept. It's called an overview effect. And it's a research and dialogues and interviews after being in space. And a lot of astronauts and cosmonauts and space tourists, when they come and actually see the Earth from space, they find that something opens up for them. They see this thin sliver of the atmosphere. And, for us, it's, blue skies. From here, it looks endless. William Shatner, who used to be a captain in Star Trek, he kind of lived through that, I guess, in your mind as an actor. And, the scenarios, it's part of your life. And people ask you, look up to you. And he did go to space on Blue Origin, I believe. What really shocked him is that he cried when coming back to Earth, and understanding that, how fragile that Earth is. And I think people who are going as space tourists, because it's no longer we will go, they are going already. It's what they bring back to nourish us. Space psychology is really looking on how we going to interact, let's say, off-world. How can we equip ourselves, prepare ourselves? So it's from designing equipment such as human-computer interaction. How do we design missions, and how do we design communication? How we design comfort, and how do we prevent problems rather than deal with it when it happens? Some of the things that could happen is that disillusion, that is not necessarily the case, but it could happen, and we need to be prepared for those circumstances. But also we don't know what to be prepared for, because we have never done it before. So all of those explorations on how it will affect us from design, very, very pragmatic things that allows us to move and maneuver and not feel depressed because it's confined and very, very little space to maneuver. But we expand our mind, because no matter how confined is your space, if you are able to expand and open up and take every opportunity as an exploration, then almost the environment will not depress you, that you can always flourish. So, and it's looking for those elements on how to encourage that. And people actually already doing that themselves, because they are going into these confined spaces. But in their mind, they're much further away. They're actually not there, in a way. They have this inner exploration that is projected outwards. And no matter how small is the space or how small is the group, it's that communication, expanding our consciousness, our perception through equipment, technology, questions, curiosity, that actually will make it fascinating field, to expand. We just don't know what it will evolve into, but prospect is incredible.